Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today. My name is Stacy Packard, and I will be discussing middle school transition and how we can make it easier for our children. A couple of years ago when my son entered middle school, he had a very difficult time with it. He just wasn't prepared for the transition. At the time I thought, well, that's normal. Everybody has a hard time in middle school. It's just something he has to live with and make it through. However, I did question, why is it so hard and what can be done to make it easier? It's true, the transition is difficult for many students. However, 1 in 4 of these students report that they are anxiety-stricken, stress-laden, and depressed. Therefore, it is vital that we create a program that addresses the issues and concerns of the students and helps them to adapt to the new middle school environment. The University of Michigan conducted a survey asking students what their biggest concerns were about entering middle school. And these concerns were put into 3 categories in order of importance. Notice where our students put academics. Next. Socially, our children are afraid that they're just not going to fit in or make new friends. They're also concerned that they will be bullied and picked on by the older students or be pressured to smoke, drink, or join gangs. In the procedure category, the #1 concern of these students was lockers. They're afraid they won't be able to find their locker, or once they do, they won't be able to get them open. They're also concerned about navigating the busy hallways and finding their classes on time. And of course, academically, these students are concerned about having more classes, more teachers, which in turn means more homework. It's no wonder they're overwhelmed. Now that we know why these kids are so anxious, stressed, and depressed, the next question is, how can we make it easier for them? And I feel the solution is to create good transition programs. Now, every middle school transition begins in the elementary school. It has been found that students who rotate classes while in the elementary school are actually better prepared for the transition into middle school. So as a first step in a transition program, this is a very good choice. Then we move on to the middle school. Now, most middle schools already have orientation programs in place, and that's great. But we simply need more than just that program. We need to have a program that's going to last the entire first year of middle school. There is a middle school philosophy called teaming. What this is we take a teacher from the language arts department, social studies, science, and math. We put them together as a team, and they work with a specific number of students, about 100. Now, the benefits of this program is the teachers collaborate together on lesson plans, when they schedule their tests, and also they communicate with each other about any issues that the students are having in transitioning. So it's an excellent program. The students at the middle school can also help make an easier transition. There is a brand new program out. It's called Safe School Ambassadors. You might have seen it on Oprah. What they do is they take the leaders of the various social groups within the middle school, they bring them together and train them on how to recognize and reduce instances of teasing, bullying, gossiping, and even exclusion. And they're trained to do this in a non-aggressive manner, and it helps to create a safe environment for all of our children. Now, as parents, we need to support our kids as they go into the middle school. One of the best ways to do that is in the summer when they get their schedule, go with them to the school. Walk through it, help them to find their classes, meet the teachers, and don't forget, find that locker, get it open so they don't have to worry about it. It's also very important that you stay involved with your child and communicate with them. If they are having issues, talk them out. Middle school is hard. Again, we need to have a successful transition program that would have an inclusive orientation that includes the parents as well as the students. We need to have the elementary schools and the middle schools communicate with each other about the students. We also need to have a supportive and safe environment for our children. And of course, they need to have a challenging curriculum. In conclusion, what I want to leave you with is we really need to work to create a successful transition program that gives our children a sense of belonging to their school and helps them to adapt to the school and really empowers them to be successful both academically and socially. Now that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Yes. How do we know if our child is having a difficult transition?
That's a really good question. A difficult transition is signified by things such as they don't want to go to school, they're having attendance problems, their grades are dropping dramatically, or they're just apathetic about the experience. All of these equal a condition called middle school malaise. Also, there is an anxiety disorder called school phobia, which affects about 1% of students, and these cells physically ill. They have sore throats and headaches and stomach aches, which as soon as they're allowed to stay home, they miraculously disappear, only to reappear again later that night or the next morning. Any other questions? Yes.
If we do have a child that's having a difficulty with the transition, how do we help them?
You know, another really great question. As parents, we need to support our kids. We need to encourage them to try new things in the middle school because it is a whole new experience for them. However, if just discussing their issues isn't helping them, there are always the school counselors, school psychologists, and even community services available to help our kids transition well. Are there any more questions? No. Well, thank you so much for being a great audience. I really, really appreciate all three of you being here.